Welcome to our session on the PSAT and NMSQT. My name is Amy Morgan and I'm one of the high school counselors here at Georgia Cyber Academy. This presentation will primarily cover the PSAT as this is the test that's coming up next month. However, I did want to give you some basic information on the SAT and the ACT. The SAT and the ACT are college admissions exams, meaning if you plan to attend college after high school, you will need to take one or both of these tests to be considered for admissions. These are not state-mandated tests and they are not required for graduation. GCA does not administer the SAT or the ACT, and GCA will also not register you for these tests. So if you plan to take them, you will need to register for them. Online registration is the very best way to register. It's very easy and they pretty much walk you through the process. The links above and in the comments section are those that will take you to the online registration for each test. There's also a link here that will lead you to our counseling website where we offer further information on these exams. As I mentioned, this presentation will focus on the PSAT or the preliminary SAT. We will review the purpose of the PSAT and NMSQT, when the test will be administered, the skills assessed on the test, how to prepare for the PSAT, and some useful resources that will assist you in your preparation for the test. The bulk of this presentation was produced by the College Board, which is the organization that oversees tests like the PSAT, the SAT, and the AP exams. The College Board has named their group of tests like the PSAT, the PSAT 10, the PSAT 8-9, and the SAT, their suite of assessments. And scores for all of these tests are reported on a common vertical scale so that educators and families can easily use those scores to measure their students' progress. The PSAT gears students in their post-secondary plans and aids them in college and career readiness. The PSAT is co-sponsored by the College Board and the National Merit Scholarship Corporation, which is the NMSQT, that's what that stands for in the title. And we'll go into a bit more detail on that in a bit. It allows students to access to millions of dollars worth of scholarship opportunities, and over 4 million students took advantage of the benefits associated with the PSAT and NMSQT last school year. A few general but important things to know about the PSAT are that you will be testing for 2 hours and 45 minutes. There's no penalty for guessing on the test. You will receive points for each correct answer, but you will not be penalized for incorrect or blank answers. A huge advantage to taking the PSAT is that you can receive free individualized test prep for the SAT through Khan Academy, and we'll discuss a bit more on this later. And the scale ranges for the test, for the scores on the PSAT are 320 to 1520, and that would be for the total score. Some of the benefits of taking the PSAT are the personalized SAT practice from Khan Academy, which I mentioned in the previous slide. This is an amazing opportunity for students to have a free test preparation for the actual SAT. So once you've taken the PSAT and you receive your scores back, you will find information on linking your PSAT scores to Khan Academy. And then Khan Academy will dissect your performance on the PSAT and offer personalized suggestions and areas of improvement so that you can be your very best prepared when you go to take the SAT. The PSAT is aligned directly with the SAT, so they are very similar in their format, and it opens the door for students to be considered for scholarships. It offers online college and career planning tools. Students can begin receiving admission information from colleges, and the PSAT allows for major and career exploration. If you are in the 11th grade and you take the PSAT, you could be considered for the National Merit Scholarship. This is a scholarship given to students who score very well or very high on the PSAT, and only your PSAT score as an 11th grader will be considered. The primary test date for the PSAT is Wednesday, October the 11th. That's when the GCA will have their administration at the GCA office in Atlanta. Students were given an opportunity to sign up for the GCA administration a few weeks ago, and it did fill up very quickly. If you are unable to register for the GCA administration, some of your local brick and mortar schools could potentially allow you to test with them. So you or your learning coach would need to call your local brick and mortar school to see if they would permit you to test with them. If you do test with another school, make sure that you use our code to identify that you are a GCA student. And our seed code is 110108, and that will allow us to have access to your test scores as well. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at some of the specific skills assessed on the test. Within the PSAT, you will have a reading test, a writing and language test, and a math test. Each test will assess the academic skills you've developed over the past few years and in your coursework. These are skills needed for students to be successful in high school, college, and in career. On the reading test, you will have questions similar to those asked when engaged in a thoughtful, evidence-based conversation. Specifically within the reading test, you will have 5 reading passages and 47 questions based on those passages. Regarding the format of the reading test, all questions will be multiple choice and based on passages. Some passages will also be paired with informational graphics like maybe a chart or a table. There's no math on the reading test, and no topic-specific knowledge is tested on the reading test. And then we have the writing and language test. And this is going to require students to take on the role of editor. So students will be asked to correct and improve written passages. Within the writing and language test, you will have 4 passages and 44 questions based on those passages. This portion will take 35 minutes. And regarding the format of the test, you will have multiple choice questions based on the passages, and some of the passages are paired with charts, graphs, and tables, and no prior specific knowledge is tested, and there is no math on the writing and language tests. So the math test will focus on math that is important in college and career. Students will be asked to show problem-solving skills and the ability to use tools appropriately, like a calculator. The math test has 2 sections, and it's 70 minutes long. There are 48 questions. There are 40 multiple-choice questions and 8 grid-in questions. The grid-ins will require students to come up with the answer to a problem and record that answer on their answer sheet. Students can use a calculator on one section, but not on the other section. Some questions will present a scenario similar to a word problem. Make sure that you bring a calculator that you're familiar with. So bring an approved calculator that you've practiced with and that you've used on a regular basis, that you've used prior to taking the test. When you are given a problem, you need to decide whether or not the calculator is the most effective and efficient tool for that particular problem. So not all questions on the calculator allowed section actually need a calculator to answer the question. So you have to make that decision. That's part of what they are assessing. As I mentioned earlier, the PSAT and the SAT have very similar formats. However, there are a few differences. The PSAT takes 2 hours and 45 minutes, whereas the SAT takes 3 hours and 50 minutes, so it's a bit longer. There is no essay portion on the PSAT. However, the SAT allows students the option to take an essay portion of the test, and they would do that whenever they register for the test. You choose whether or not you want to take the essay portion on the SAT. The section score range for the PSAT is 160 to 760, and the score range for the SAT is 200 to 800. Your score report on the PSAT will also provide you with a projected SAT score, so what you would likely score if you took the SAT. Okay, so now we're going to discuss some ways to prepare and get ready for the test. It's important to keep in mind how the PSAT is scored, as that's going to impact your testing strategies. Remember that the PSAT is a writes-only scoring, So you are given 1 point for each correct answer, but no points are taken off for incorrect or blank questions or answers. So you should do your very best to answer all questions that you can, and make sure that you're using educated guessing on those that you are not sure the answer. On the math grid-ins, remember that you can enter answers as reduced fractions or decimals if you are rounding. As you've likely heard, preparation for tests such as these start in school. And although this is not a test that you can cram for the night before, you can definitely incorporate some long-term strategies that will improve your scores. Reading and taking challenging courses in high school will definitely help improve your scores. A few specific things that you can do in your classes right now to help you improve your scores on tests like the PSAT or the SAT are doing your homework, preparing for tests and quizzes, and asking and answering lots of questions in class. Okay, so on the day of the test, make sure that you do not bring any of the items on this slide because they are not allowed and will be taken up. So don't bring a phone or smartwatches, compasses, highlighters, colored pencils or pens, papers, dictionaries, or any kind of food or drink. Okay, so yes, now you are ready to take the test. And as always, make sure you start the day off right with a good breakfast, know where you're going so you're not late, and take a sweater or jacket so that you're comfortable during your test. Here are a few additional links that will help you in your preparation. They include general information on the PSAT, some practice tests, and some information on the National Merit Scholarship. You can find these live links in the comment section. In addition, here are some links for sample test questions for each section. So I highly suggest that you take a look at these so you can familiarize yourself with the format. Thank you so much for joining me on our PSAT information session. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me by email, and my email is amorgan@gacyber.org, and I'm happy to try to help you. We do love feedback from our students and families, so please use the link in the comment section to give us feedback regarding our presentation, and you could even win something or get recognized on our next Candy announcement. Thank you again, and have a wonderful day.